Good afternoon. It is July 7th, 2021, and today we're looking at a range day. These are the overnight highs, midline, overnight lows. This is where the overnight highs were made. So shortly after the opening, we had a breakout and made like a double or triple top with a nice entry to go short beneath. And then we broke out to the low side, and now we've broken out to the high side and pretty much have been ranging since about 11:40 Eastern time. So really most of the day has been spent ranging up here. Looks like we're making a measured move right here, two measured legs. But yeah, that's a range day. So if you played it like a range day, probably did all right. I am going to be going over my trades that I take on the simulator in my videos from now on. I wanted to do one at the end of the week, like one video of all my trades, but that just on the weekends I just don't have time to do that. So let's take a look at the chart. So shortly after 8 a.m. Eastern time, we're trending up all night. Shortly after 8 a.m. Eastern time, unfortunately, we have no idea that this is going to be a very important price level. So I don't think you can go. I'm not too sure if you can go short here, but I will say that I did have the range drawn like this. So, and that's a second entry short. First entry, second entry, far from the EMA. But it just looks like we're playing this trend. So I don't think you can go short there, but that does look like a range. So if you want to play that like a range and take that as a failed breakout on that engulfing bar, that turns out to be a great trade. And I don't think you would have to worry about a runner getting stopped out until like here. So, but anyway, I ended up moving the range up to here, and that ended up being a very important price level. So anyway, we break out of that trend. We break this overnight trend. Let me just delete these. Actually, no, that won't distract. That shouldn't be distracting. But anyway, we get this sharp leg up, and so I measured that. So I marked this because I guess first entry, was that like a second? Oh, okay, this is actually a second entry long here. So first entry, you don't get any I guess, what is that, a lower high in here? So that's a first entry, second entry right here. So it is aggressive because it looks like we should be playing this range, and that's going into the midline, but that's an engulfing bar you get here. And we were just trending up all night. So after this big leg right here, I like that entry. And we get we come just short here. I'll delete this now. We just come just short of the perfect measure move right here. You can see it tries to go higher multiple times, and we get some resistance. I'm going to delete it now. Right here, we get that perfect measure move. I'm going to delete that so it's not distracting. But tries to go higher. What is that? I think I looked at this as a... Well, this is just another trap that confirms this trend line. I think it's just a first entry. That's why it's aggressive. But it's another trap, and it confirms this trend line. So if you go long above this, and it's like a breakout of this price level, if you go long above this, I think that's a good trade. And it's the first time breakout of that congestion that we broke up into. So yeah, I guess the market really wanted to complete that measured leg. So you do get a first entry, second entry short right after it completes that perfect measured leg. That's aggressive because we just had this trend line confirmed. But if you are measuring your legs and you see that and it's a first, second entry short, I think you can go short there, and that ends up being a really good move. Let's delete this. So now it kind of looks like it's going to be a range day, and we do get a first entry, second entry short right here. But and I do believe I had this measured. We'll check that out. For a second entry short here, but look at these bars are just stacked up. So I don't really like going short there. Did we get it? Okay, so we go a little further than a measured move here. But we do get a bounce. And that's right at the overnight lows. You can see we get a higher low here, bounces, pretty big leg up here. First entry, so failed second entry, long here. I think I got trapped here. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I got trapped here. I went long. Why is this bad? Well, this is going into the top of that range. So it's just too late. It's off the midline. Yeah, that's why I just went long, because it's off the trend line, but it's too late. Look how close you are to these highs. And you should be playing it like a range. So really I should just be waiting for it to come to these highs and make a lower high and go short. But yeah, I got trapped. Oh, also, look, that's coming back into this congestion. I'm entering in congestion. So we had this congestion that formed in a downtrend. We broke out with trend. We come back and test it, and that's just not a good entry. Make a lower high here, first entry. This is a failed second entry long, but look how far from the EMA is. It is. Yes, it confirms that trend channel, but it's far from the EMA. And here you get a nice trap. And I walked away from my computer and I came back to my computer right here, and I was eager. I entered down here. You can't do that because of how far it is from the EMA. I think it is okay to enter one tick below that, and that would have gotten you 5 ticks perfectly, so perfect scalp. But look, if you're patient, you get a second entry short off the EMA. This is a double bottom. It tests this level twice, so Mac would probably say to reset the count here, but I do like this as a second entry short. And that probably is the trade of the day, I would think. Let's check it out. 30.75. Oh wait, you would get stopped out here. So that's a 5-point move. That's a good move. Yeah, so this is the breakout to the low side, and it fails. You get a first entry, second entry, failed second entry short right here off the EMA. It's aggressive because this looks congestive. Here you just get an engulfing bar off of the, this is clearly a level of support. But this is aggressive, man. This is going into the highs. But you do get what looks like a first entry, second entry. Again, this is double top, so technically this is a first entry, but it looks like a second entry. And now this is kind of confirming the trend line. So enter on that trap. It's off the EMA, off the trend line. Oh, whoops. That's probably like right there. And that would have been a good scalp. Easy scalp. You get another confirmation of the trend channel here. But this is going into the midline of the daily range, so that's just, it's getting dicey at this point. It is an engulfing bar though, and it's off the trend line. So this might be something you would consider right here. This is just a no man's land, and it's congestive. You can't enter. And we get this steep leg up here, but it's just far from the EMA. This kind of looks like a second entry, but you don't get a setup. Even though it's technically a first entry, this looks like the first pullback, second pullback. get another move up, and we finally get a break of this trend channel above the overnight highs. So we should have been expecting that. You do get this engulfing bar here. I'm sure plenty of people entered short here, but you just can't go in on that just yet because the trend could hold and this thing could go higher. But when you get a first failed second entry long right there, I think that's a great entry. And we move down. Oh, whoops. Yeah, it also looks like prices could be ranging, and this could be like an entry back into the range. So that's another reason I like that. We trend down a little bit, and then we form this congestion at that level of support. And it breaks out, and here, I took this. I just like this because it just looks like a trap. I don't think this is really just a. I think I was looking at this as like a double bottom, so first entry, second entry, but this is really probably where you should start to count. First entry, second entry, so that's a third entry. But it does look like a trap. You can see it loses moment. This upward move loses momentum at this. This is just a doji, but I did enter on this, and it worked out. It is at an important price level, but now I'm looking at it, I don't think you should take that. I did take that, but today I was just over trading, and we'll see that when I go over my trades. I was just taking too many trades and not really following the rules. This I wanted to point out because it looks like a repeat pattern from the open of yesterday's price action. So you can see we were in this tight congestion that formed in a downward move. And then we get a first entry, failed second entry, short, breakout, pullback. Yeah, it's hard to say if you can go long. That's going into highs, so I don't think you can. But let's take a look at what happened yesterday. I want to show you, just so I can point out this repeat pattern. So you see yesterday here at the open, we had this congestion overnight, and then we had this breakout, first entry, failed second entry, short. And I think, yeah, if you went long here, you would have gotten a scalp out, but then we get this sharp sell-off. So yeah, that's what I noticed. It looked a lot like that. So would it have worked today too? Yes, it would have, but it is a breakout pullback, so counter trend. So we get this, make this new high, and then we get a lower high here. I really like this, and especially if you put on your measured moves from that range, that's like exactly at the measured move. So I like that lower high entry. You can see there. And if you don't like that, if you're patient, you get a failed first, second entry long. And this is clearly a trap. I think I should probably have this as red. This is clearly a trap because you see people treating it like a second entry long, but it's at the measured move of this range. So yeah, you get a nice move out of that. And you probably could have entered short here too as like a triple top. But I'm not going to mark that because it's a third entry. And then we get this leg down, first entry. You don't get anything to go short here. And here they tried, maybe they might make another attempt to complete this measured move, but we haven't made it. So that's what I saw for today. And now I'm going to talk about my trades because I think this is going to really help me. Not really expecting people to watch this part of the video, but it really is going to help me, I can tell. So let's take a look. So I was patient. I didn't take this even though it looked good. And I got a good trade here. I think this is a good trade. It's a first entry, second entry, long. After this big leg close to the open, I thought that it was okay to take this engulfing bar second entry long. And that's where, I'm pretty sure that's where I entered. Yep. And I got filled. I really should have. I think I scalped out at like 2 points for my runner. But if I just put my stop here at the, just below, one tick below each bar, I would have gotten 41.75. Like a 4-point move. So, and I would have more easily been able to walk away without taking trades. Okay, so I got stopped out here. Oh yeah, so yeah, I talked about this. I went long above this bar. Simply because it's just a trend up. But it's just the first entry. So you really should not be taking first entries unless there is like a lot of evidence favoring you. And there isn't here. It's just the first entry with trend off the trend line. And I think that's probably when I was just like, okay, I'm going to start over trading. And I took this. These are good moves right here. I think this is this is the first failed second entry long right here. And then you can get this trap, but I entered one tick below this because I missed the trap, and it was just a mess. And if I was patient, I would have gotten that second entry. I do like this. Look, it ticks higher, so you know it traps these longs, and it's a second entry short. After this break of this strong move down, you can expect at least some bearish movement after that. Let's see what else. Yeah, I entered on this. I like this. It's a first failed second entry long. We just broke out above the overnight highs. I really like that. And we broke this trend up. So I have no problem with that. Oh, wait. Oh, I got trapped going long here. Okay. So yeah, I was being impatient again. I think I saw this trend channel up. I wanted to go long. I missed this, even though this wouldn't be according to the rules, and I went long. And as soon as I entered, I realized, wait, no, this is a failed second entry long. All these people who went long here, they're now exiting because they got their scalps. Because really, you probably would have entered above this bar. So, yeah. I mean, think about what you're doing, and is it right? What about if you were doing the opposite? If you were thinking, let's go long here, well, what about going short? Is that the right thing to do? And that was, look, we're at the overnight highs, and it's a range day. Okay, I went short here. I don't like this. I don't think you can go short here. You get a doji for a signal bar, but it is a trap. And I did read it right, thinking that this was a range, but I don't think you can go. I don't think you can go short here. I was just over trading, straight up. Went short here. I like this trade because it's a lower high. This measured move. It's a range day all day, so I do think this makes sense. And then we get a failed second entry long. So I like that too. And then, yeah, what did I do here? I went short here. Thinking we're going into resistance. But I think if I measured this leg, I would have stayed away from this. Because this looks like one leg up. And we should expect a second leg up. And it looks like it might have failed here, but they might make another move, an attempt to hit that measured leg. So that's the trades I took today. Hopefully, I know that's going to help me. I hope it helps other people, but I don't really care if other people skip out on that part of the video. So I'll be back tomorrow.